Imagine stepping onto the pitch at the biggest football tournament in the world, only to realize your body is fighting against the air itself. At the 2026 FIFA World Cup 2026, some of the world's greatest players could face a challenge far more dangerous than tactics or pressure: high altitude. While millions of fans focus on goals, rivalries, and superstar players, sports scientists are already paying attention to something else: oxygen. Because in certain host cities of the 2026 World Cup, players may run out of energy faster, recover slower, and struggle to maintain intensity during matches. Altitude training is a special preparation method used by elite athletes to help the body adapt to lower oxygen levels. The higher a location is above sea level, the thinner the air becomes, meaning players receive less oxygen with every breath. For ordinary people, that may simply cause tiredness. But for footballers sprinting continuously for 90 minutes, it can completely change physical performance. Sprinting repeatedly, pressing aggressively, and recovering between actions becomes harder, which is why athletes across football, cycling, boxing, and marathon running often train in mountains or altitude chambers before major competitions. The goal is to force the body to adapt so it can perform better under difficult oxygen conditions. The 2026 World Cup will be hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, becoming the largest World Cup in history with 48 teams and 104 matches. Most host cities in the United States and Canada are located near sea level, but Mexico introduces a completely different challenge. Some Mexican host cities sit far above sea level, especially Mexico City, home to the legendary Estadio Azteca. The stadium sits around 2,240 meters above sea level, more than 7,300 feet high, where oxygen levels are significantly lower than normal. Even tourists visiting the city often feel tired simply walking through the streets. So imagine trying to play elite football there. Players may experience heavier legs, quicker exhaustion, slower recovery, and reduced sprint intensity. In football, tiny physical differences matter. A team capable of pressing intensely for 90 minutes may suddenly struggle after 60. Mexico City is not the only concern. Guadalajara, another World Cup host city, sits around 1,550 meters above sea level, still high enough to affect endurance and recovery, while Monterrey sits much lower and is not expected to create major altitude problems. Because of this, Mexico City and Guadalajara may become some of the most physically demanding locations of the tournament, especially for teams arriving from low-altitude countries. Some national teams could naturally adapt better than others. South American teams already have experience playing difficult qualification matches in elevated environments, meaning countries like Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay may be more familiar with these conditions. Meanwhile, many European teams usually compete closer to sea level, making preparation even more important. Modern football is deeply connected to sports science, and elite national teams now use altitude camps, oxygen monitoring, recovery systems, and performance tracking to gain even the smallest advantage. At the highest level of football, matches are often decided by tiny moments: one sprint, one defensive mistake, or one counterattack in the final minutes. Altitude affects exactly those moments because fatigue increases faster and concentration drops earlier. Recovery between matches also becomes harder during a packed World Cup schedule where teams may play every few days. This is why many experts believe some national teams could arrive in Mexico earlier than usual to help players adapt before important matches begin.
The 2026 World Cup may become one of the most physically demanding tournaments football has ever seen. And while fans focus on tactics and star players, the real hidden battle may happen inside the lungs of the athletes themselves. Because in 2026, the teams that prepare for the altitude may already have a massive advantage before the match even starts.